Hey guys, and welcome back to the Panic Brothers YouTube channel. I am Simon, and today I want to talk about video game box art. Whether you're a casual gamer, expert gamer, goddamn ninja, anybody, you can't deny that when you walk into a GameStop or an online shop on Amazon, that box art of a video game catches your eye immediately, and is the first thing that really hooks you into the game if you haven't heard about it before. I'm not here to give a grand theory as to why North America ruined box arts, because let's be honest, a lot of them look pretty shitty. But if you want someone who's going to tackle a more serious tone with box arts and give you a really in-depth detailed video on that, please by all means visit Nakey Jakey's channel. He has an amazing video called The Death of Video Game Box Art, and it covers everything about how video game box art really went off the deep end over the last couple of decades in gaming. Now, this video is more so an appreciation of box art. I love box art a lot. It is one of my favorite things about buying a video game, and it is one of the reasons why I still buy physical video games. So take this as more of what makes box art great, and let's not try to focus so much on the negative aspects of box art. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. I essentially took all the box art slash cover art slash whatever you want to call it that I like, looked at it, analyzed it, and came up with 4 categories that I personally believe sum up what I think is a good cover art. And those categories are minimalism, environment, character driven, and typography. Let's start off with minimalism. The Final Fantasy series reeks of minimalism. It is the epitome of less is more. So many of their titles are just a stupid white background and just some letters and a character. Simon, how could this possibly be a good idea? Hear me out. This is genius. Let your logo, your font, your art do the talking. Why have an extravagant background when you can just have a white backdrop, kind of a void, that can only bring the player comfort and familiarity through the character that's drawn on the logo, accompanied by the music, typically in a title screen like in Kingdom Hearts fashion. It's amazing. I typically hate white backdrops on anything. I think it's a very lazy way of designing anything. But for Final Fantasy, it just works. It's Final Fantasy's identity at this point, and they kill it every single time, to the point where Final Fantasy 15's black background even still kills it.
Look, Billy, do you hear that?
I feel that!
Resident Evil 4's original box art is something made out of nightmares. It genuinely disturbs me even when editing this video. I really think they did a great job with this. Leon Kennedy's great, don't get me wrong. I think he looks great on the cover, but come on, there's so many guys that just stand there with their gun pointing upward looking cool. This perfectly matches what Resident Evil is. An ominous silhouette of a being. You can't even tell if it's a zombie or a human being in this, which is essentially the whole theme of Resident Evil 4. Fighting the unknown in a sense. And having that silhouette match that blood red background with those tall trees while I hold a chainsaw. Oh, this is such a creepy cover, and it's so minimal in its style that I just love it. It's so effective. I love me a great environment and setting in video games. But what I like even more is when box art really captures that environment and that scenery in such great detail. Games like Secret of Mana do this way too well. I know almost every box art video on YouTube probably mentions this title, along with the title I'll mention right after this, but Secret of Mana just looks so great in its art direction. It looks like a damn fucking painting! You have this amazing contrast of red birds against a green backdrop, which just looks gorgeous and catches the eye immediately. You can hardly see the cast and party of the game when you're looking at the cover art, which is definitely intentional considering how beautiful the landscape looks. That dense forest hinting towards the richness hidden within it creates such intrigue and mystery. I can't stress how much this is just it when it comes to doing environment in your box art. The next example I have tries to capture what Secret of Mana did, except it does this in a more minimalist aspect. So I guess you can say this next cover is the perfect match between minimalism and environment. And that is Ico, however you pronounce it. I never played this game, but my god, the cover art is just amazing. It really breaks the norm of having everything coming at you and just overstimulating the audience with its cover art. And it depicts to us the game's open source nature, along with two of the main characters on the front cover just swallowed by that empty voidness that really kind of captures the environment of the game. Stuff like this reminds me of the open vastness of the beginning of Ocarina of Time's opening sequence. That's just great to have silence, nothingness besides the hero traveling through a barren wasteland. It's such a great kind of overused trope, but one that I never get sick and tired of. I'll be honest, I just made up this category to appreciate how great Metal Gear Solid is. You can't look at me in the eyes after looking at this collage right here and tell me that the Metal Gear Solid cover arts are not absolute heat. I have a soft spot for any illustrator, any animation, anything really drawn. And this is the epitome of how great you can amplify something through the ability of drawing alone. These artist renditions of Solid Snake have only gotten more and more and more fire through each iteration of the Metal Gear Solid game. Why on earth we decided to switch from this to character models always bothers me, cause in my opinion no other game has done as well as Metal Gear Solid in terms of its illustration work outside of Final Fantasy's little drawings around its logo. To have your box art centered around a character, aka character driven, is so common nowadays, but it's all just a cool dude looking off in the distance, not caring while holding a gun or saving a girl or holding onto a cliff. Here, yes, you do get that cool edgy vibe, but there's so much detail put into that illustration instead of just a guy standing there. Look at Metal Gear Solid 4 for instance, the Metal Gear Solid that everyone thought would be the end of the series. It shows the pain, time, and just withered down Solid Snake that we've played throughout the years. And it definitely looks like the cover art for the final straw for this character. He looks like he's determined to end it. And every wrinkle in his face shows us every single experience we've had with him from game 1 all the way to game 4. And Metal Gear Solid 5 looks like the redemption, the rejuvenation, the return of Solid Snake. The return of someone we thought was dead, but through the scars, through all the battle, we still get one more experience with him. I can go on and on about how each one of these illustrations just brings out more and more about Solid Snake with each game, but honestly, I'll just let the cover art do the talking. So like most people, I know absolute jack shit about typography. Honestly, I just think that these next following examples are just really cool looking titles. I can't explain why the font used and the letters used are really cool to me, but I just know that any of these next box arts, if they just had the font alone, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Doom's letters look insane. It screams, this is some intense shit, get ready or die. Cuphead's fun title screams 1920s. This is like a classic comic / classic film kind of vibe, and I honestly love it. And it's even more effective when it's accompanied with the subheading font, which is just icing on the cake. And then honestly, the best example of any typography is Sonic, in my opinion. Sonic has never failed when it comes to its font. You could see Sonic from a mile away. It is so recognizable, and that font could sell any game. Any Sonic game except probably Sonic the Hedgehog and Shadow the Hedgehog are amazing when it comes to their font. I love it. It's goofy, springy, bouncy, fun, and it just really carries that same vibe from the 90s, which somehow still carries today. You know how impressive that is that they made a font in the 1990s? and it's still fire in 2020. That rests my case. So yeah, that's kind of it. Those are essentially some of my favorite box arts, and it's kind of a shame that it's been dying off over the last couple of years in gaming. Box arts are one of the greatest ideas that any marketing team could have ever came up with when inventing the first video game. It's just so eye-catching and just really cool that a piece of art can tell a story. But unfortunately, it looks like we're in an era where that's no longer relevant. Regardless, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Panic Brothers, and listen to some guy talk about art when he really has no idea what it takes to really even make a box cover art. Please leave a comment below. What is your favorite box art? Do you hate the ones that I put up? Please, I would love to start a conversation on this topic, because I can go years and years and years on end talking about how cool different box arts are in gaming. But outside of that, please guys, stay inside, take care, and we'll see you next time on the Panic Brothers. This has been Simon. Have a good one.